actually can't believe what I just discovered. How do you not get romantic about hockey? How do you not get romantic about sports? One more time, hat picks. Hello, friend, Steve Dangle here, and welcome to the final edition of Steve's Hat Picks, where we take a look at the best from around the NHL over the past week. The Vegas Golden Knights won the Stanley Cup yesterday. Have you heard of them? So let's put a bow on the best from the best of the best. For our first hat pick, I'm sure you don't need me to tell you that allowing 9 goals in the Stanley Cup deciding game is bad. But Sergei Bobrovsky, who was like the primary reason, one of the primary reasons that the Florida Panthers had made it this far, went down fighting. Here he is with an incredible save in Game 3 that the Panthers won, by the way.
Here's Gudas, checked by Colasar. Theodore pounces on that. In. Here's a stop and rebound. Bobrovsky came across to Rob Howden after juggling the initial shot.
Just all kinds of trouble for Bobrovsky. Thought he had it for a second. Howden, who had a pair in the last game. Look at that blocker sliding across. Good recovery, not knowing that he was going to give up that rebound. Howden didn't quite get it high enough, but that's the Bobrovsky that the Florida Panthers have had to get to this point, and there's a huge save.
That ridiculous blocker save on Brett Howden gave the Panthers life, kept them in the game, and eventually led to their first ever win in franchise history in a Stanley Cup final. Sergei Bobrovsky. That's a hat pick. And speaking of the Florida Panthers' first ever win in the Stanley Cup final, here's how they got it in overtime. Carter Verhaeghe.
Couple of overtime wins against Dallas, and here comes Bennett. Nice move at the line. In the middle, Verhaeghe scores! Carter Verhaeghe! And the Panthers have won their first ever Stanley Cup final game.
I said about never a bad play to shoot the puck. A neutral zone turnover, a nice little play at the line by Bennett, and this one right through the traffic and up and over the glove. Tkachuk had a presence there, but it's the quick release of Verhaeghe through a little bit of traffic. A tough place to handle it. Gets it up and over the glove, and just like that, there's life here in Florida. What a comeback win to make this a series.
4:27, time of the goal, Verhaeghe.
I mean, what do you say about Carter Verhaeghe, man? 3rd round pick of the Toronto Maple Leafs years and years ago. Lou Lamoriello's first move with the Toronto Maple Leafs was to package 5 random players together, basically just 5 contract slots, and trade them for Michael Grabner and a cap dump. One of those players was Carter Verhaeghe. What's amazing is he didn't break out for the Islanders either. He was traded straight up for Kristers Gudlevskis, Latvian bronze medalist, might I add. And then he sort of starts to break out with Tampa, but he doesn't really get his opportunity until he joins the Panthers. He was easily one of the Panthers' best players on this entire run, and he scored the OT winner to give the Panthers their first ever win in the Stanley Cup final, solidifying a little chunk of Florida Panthers history. Carter Verhaeghe, the goal, his spot in franchise history, that's a hat pick. We move on to Game 4, though, and this next hat pick is in favor of the Vegas Golden Knights. Zach Whitecloud, what a feed!
Picked off by Stevenson. Stone with a blind pass that'll pull Zach Whitecloud back out to center. Great pass. Swinging Stevenson scores! Chandler Stevenson, a minute 39 in.
Watch the red lights. Tkachuk makes his change. Now everybody a little bit disjointed. On the back end, you get a bad change as well, and that allows Stevenson to get there before Montour could. And Bennett gets beat up the middle. That one rattled around the 5-hole on Bobrovsky. 3 good saves early on by Bobrovsky, but Stevenson.
Just a fantastic play where skills meet smarts. Mark Stone, he's in the offensive zone with some Nate Diaz spinning stuff, and it goes to nobody. The Vegas Golden Knights have to retreat. Zach Whitecloud collects the puck and then sees, oh, they're going for a change right now. Takes advantage of the Florida Panthers' momentary, minuscule lack of judgment, and then fires a dart of a feed right up the middle to Chandler Stevenson. Breakaway, goal. From there, the Golden Knights never look back. They win Game 4, 3-1 series lead. Ooh. This team is good. This team is skilled. This team is smart. This team is deep. And White Cloud is a big part of that. That's a hat pick. But once again, these Florida Panthers, man, they don't go down without a fight. Brandon Montour, the most ridiculous breakout season with an unreal feed to Alexander Barkov for the one-timer.
What if Verhaeghe goes down to 3 lines here? Here in the third period. Wendell, Montour, scores! Alexander Barkov has his first. And it's a 1-goal game.
Starting it deep in his own zone. A little flip pass here to an area. A blind pass across right on the tape of Barkov. We said, Barkov, you just want to stay out of traffic, get lost, but watch how quickly it's on and off his stick. No chance at all for Hill to slide across. If he dusts that off, he might get an opportunity to get right to the post. Instead, Barkov, the captain, had an assist on that first Montour.
Brandon Montour provided the Florida Panthers with 8 goals and 5 assists for 13 points in 21 playoff games, but his story is so much more ridiculous than that. He had 9 goals and 32 points in 80 games in his first full season in the National Hockey League with the Anaheim Ducks. But this was in the 17-18 season. Everything from that season, goals, assists, points, even games played, all of those would remain career highs until last season with the Florida Panthers. 11 goals, 26 assists, 37 points in 81 games. Hey, gosh, that's pretty good. This year, he kicked Pretty Good's door down. Previous career high of 11 goals, he scored 16. Then added half that total in the playoffs, by the way. Previous career high, 26 assists, 57. Previous career high, 37 points. Don't like that. Flip it, 73. Dude, even his career high in penalty minutes was ridiculous. Last year, 48. This year, 107. He was the Florida Panthers' run in a nutshell. Skill and snarl. 61 career penalty minutes in the playoffs, 39 of them came this season. Unfortunately, this nice feed with a nice goal was as close as the Panthers would get in Game 4, but not for lack of trying. That's a hat pick. Now on to Game 5. There were some goals. I don't know if you saw. Even though there were 12 goals and 9 of them belonged to the Vegas Golden Knights, this goal would end up being the game winner, and it was disgusting.
Shea Theodore. They clear the broken stick from that point area. Theodore shot, knocked down in front. Powers the chance. Scores! A 4-1 game.
The Golden Knights had that puck in the zone for a minute 37 on the heels of the long shift that they just had and scored right after. The pressure there. Colin White had no stick. He had miscommunication, and what a little pass that Riley Smith doesn't get the shot that he wanted. It looks like he almost fanned on it.
Woo! Dude, that is a Stanley Cup winning goal you can remember. Bruce Cassidy, head coach of the Vegas Golden Knights, at the top of the game, he started the Misfits, some of the original Golden Knights, on the opening faceoff. How fitting that 2 of the original Golden Knights would connect for the Stanley Cup winning goal. William Karlsson between his legs to Riley Smith, who almost shanks the thing, but he places it perfectly. A cast-off from Columbus feeds a cast-off from the Florida Panthers. 2 guys who were involved in side deals to go to Vegas. They weren't just exposed, they were involved in side deals to go to Vegas. End up connecting for the Stanley Cup winning goal. Follow your dreams, bet on yourself. That's a hat pick. Now, in this final edition of Steve's Hat Picks, I thought I would let you in on a secret. Hat pick is a play on hat trick. Yeah, I know. People are always confused by that. A hat trick, by the way, is it's in hockey. I think it's in soccer too, but it's when you score 3 goals and people throw their hats and and they're very happy about it. Then Hat Picks was born from that. Did you know? Nick, I told them the fun fact that they didn't know. Mark Stone scores a hat trick goal in a Stanley Cup clinching game. That's a hat pick. Let's take a look at it.
Back in Bennett. That drop for Verhaeghe. Missed him. Stone's away. He's got Stevenson with him. Pietrangelo out.
Well, right now, this Florida can't make a play to get the pressure off and get a change.
Stevenson, Howard, Stone, score! The always demonstrative Mark Stone showing you the disappointment there. Sam Bennett looked across, Stone, one more try, and that one is going to hit the target. A hat trick for Mark Stone. And even though it's the 8th goal, you know he wanted that.
Man, he really pulled a Babe Dye on that one, am I right? High five. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Babe Dye was the last player to score a hat trick in a Stanley Cup clinching game. If you're wondering, why don't I have a Babe Dye hockey card? That's because he did this over 100 years ago! I could make a joke that it was so long ago that it was a Leafs Stanley Cup, but that wouldn't even be true. It was the Toronto St. Pats that Babe Dye played for. Babe Dye was born in 1898. Red Dead Redemption 2 is my favorite video game and is a prequel to a period piece from the early 1900s. So it is a period piece from a long time ago. And that game that takes place a really long time ago takes place in 1899. And I just discovered something just screwing around on Google live while shooting this. Mark Stone became the first player to score a hat trick in a Stanley Cup clinching game since Babe Dye. Mark Stone was born in 1992. Babe Dye was born in 1898. They were both born on May 13th. They share the same birthday. What on earth are the odds of that? I actually can't believe what I just discovered. How do you not get romantic about hockey? How do you not get romantic about sports? That's astounding. Oh, and he did it on home ice. Oh, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. That's a hat pick. Holy Toledo. I can't freaking believe that. 3 more hat picks to go. There were 12 goals, 9 of them to the Golden Knights, and a few of them were really impressive. But this save from Aiden Hill cannot be forgotten.
Looking for the first Stanley Cup clinching game hat trick since 1922. Barkov is in, centered, declared, and did he make the stop? Did you see that? Aiden Hill
Goes back the other way. Barkov with a great individual effort in the pass through. And how about this glove save? Never give up on the puck.
Yeah, no, they're winning. Like, Vegas is winning 6-1. We know that. But I've seen 3-1, 4-1, 5-1, even 5-0 leads get completely blown in the playoffs, regular season. When he made that save, I'm like, yeah, no, that's okay. That's the dagger right there. Like, if they had a 99.9% chance of winning, that made it 100. Aiden Hill was acquired by the Vegas Golden Knights this past offseason for a 2024 4th-round pick from the San Jose Sharks. Bet on yourself. Follow your dreams. That's a hat pick. Stanley Cup champion. Next hat pick. Didn't score a goal for the first 7 games of the Stanley Cup playoffs. He finishes tied for the league lead with Leon Draisaitl, who hasn't played in a month. Oh my goodness. Jonathan Marchessault.
The Conn Smythe Trophy goes to the most valuable player in the playoffs. This player, second in scoring in the playoffs, tied for first for goals, and an original Golden Knight, Jonathan Marchessault.
Well, it's fitting that a misfit would win the first Conn Smythe Trophy for Vegas. A guy described as just fiercely competitive, and we saw plenty of evidence of that.
What a story Jonathan Marchessault is. The dude goes undrafted in the NHL draft, but he keeps plugging away, and the Florida Panthers say, hey, this guy's pretty good, and they sign him to a contract. And this is why the Florida Panthers deserve to take grief for losing Jonathan Marchessault, because William Karlsson, right? The Columbus Blue Jackets gave him up to the Vegas Golden Knights, but he was an unknown quantity at the NHL level. They did not know he would be a 40-goal scorer. I don't even know if the Vegas Golden Knights knew that. Jonathan Marchessault scored 30 goals for the Panthers the year they exposed him in the draft! Not only did he score 30 goals for the Florida Panthers the year they exposed him and packaged him with Riley Smith and shot them out of the door with a cannon, he led the Panthers in goal scoring by 7 goals. But his plus minus was bad. And now he is +1 in the Conn Smythe column and +1 in the Stanley Cup champion column. Jonathan Marchessault. Ooh, revenge is a dish best served straight out of the Stanley Cup. That's a hat pick. And last, but certainly not least, hoist that thing high with your scarves. They're wearing scarves. That's fine. I'm all for merch. Raise your glass for the Vegas Golden Knights.
Bill Foley had the vision, the creativity, and the audacity to bring the first major league team to Las Vegas. And then he said, we're going to win the Stanley Cup in 6 years. What has happened here has been simply incredible. Not only is Vegas a hockey town, it's a championship town. Congratulations to George McPhee, Kelly McCrimmon, Bruce Cassidy, and most important, the players on your Vegas Golden Knights. Mark Stone, our tradition for this 130-year-old trophy is to present it to the captain.
Congratulations, 3 goals tonight, a Stanley Cup etched in stone. And the first handoff, I think we're going to see 6 handoffs in a row. There's Riley Smith, another former Panther.
The original group of Vegas Golden Knights were called the Misfits because they were the misfits of their team. And even though the Vegas Golden Knights sort of evolved into this dark empire that had a lot of turnover and would trade players, think of the players they traded basically for free. Max Pacioretty, Marc-Andre Fleury, after winning the Vezina Trophy. And even though that wasn't always well received, they found a way to continue the spirit of the Misfits and acquire cast-offs or players with something to prove. Their star center, Jack Eichel, had something to prove to his former team and to all of the naysayers by not just competing for a Stanley Cup, not just making the Stanley Cup playoffs for the first time, but getting his health back, getting the surgery that he needed on his neck, becoming the first player in the NHL to get a neck disc replacement surgery. And he wasn't the last either. Guys like Tyler Johnson have got it as well now. He was at the forefront of that, and he gets to hoist the cup high. Bruce Cassidy of the Boston Bruins had his bosses show up at his house to fire him. The Vegas Golden Knights pick him up, and in his first season with the team, he wins a Stanley Cup, and you can take your regular season record and shove it. He'll take a ring any day. On and on the list goes. The Vegas Golden Knights proved they are the best team in the National Hockey League. And that is a hat pick. So that is it for this final edition of Steve's Hat Picks. Thank you very much for watching today and every week. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. The final episode of Steve's Dangits is coming soon, and a final send-off video, the Dangies. I'm not even going to tell you what the Dangies are. You're just going to have to wait and see.